This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening. This is the Town of Needham Conservation Commission. It is April 13th and 7 o'clock. And my name is Janet Bernardo. I'm the Conservation Commission Chair. And I'm first going to confirm that the other commission members can hear me. Sue?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Paulina? Uh-oh. Paulina, I've lost you, but we have a quorum. She's out there. Oh, good. I see you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Now staff, Clay
Here.
and Deb.
Yeah.
There you go. Right smack in front of me. This is the open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission. It's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th. Is this still the same thing? It's the executive order has continued now until March 2025 or whatever. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth, due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, you'd think that they should change it. Like, am I still well? All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or question. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay. So first on the agenda is 30 Mosley Avenue, DEP file number 234896. This is a continued notice of intent, and who is here to represent this? You want to, Karen, you want to state your name and company for the record? And
Karen Scannicatroni, wetland consultant, representing the owners of 37 Mosley Ave in Needham.
And I'm Daniel Deichman. I'm one of the owners of the property.
Great, thank you very much. Anybody else from your team that wants to be heard at this moment? No. Okay, are you going to present something, Karen?
I'll present. Clay, can you put the plan up? Thank you. So we were here at the meeting before last, and we were asked to kind of give a written document of what was happening because the plan was a little confusing. We also made kind of color coded the plan so it'd be a bit more clear. But the changes, what we're proposing to do is add a 22 by 22 garage addition to the rear of the existing house, an 18 by 16.2 addition on the left side of the existing house, a 19 by 18 addition on the left side of the driveway, some of which is currently stairs and a porch, and a small addition to the front entranceway. The existing house created 115 square feet of impervious within the 25-foot buffer. The additions will create an additional 225 square foot of impervious within the 25-foot buffer. So we originally had an infiltration system that a great deal of it was in the 25-foot buffer. We've changed that to a rain garden, which you can see at the back of the house. And we've kept that outside the 25-foot. We are, as mitigation, removing the shed on the left-hand side and the garage, the existing garage in the rear. So we've added a lot of plantings to the plan. We did add 6 trees for the 3 that we're taking down, and we've added 12 shrubs and 15 pollinator plants, mostly in the area, well, some along the left side of the 25-foot, and some in the area of the shed, which will be removed. Also, there's a sump pump shown, which will be collected in the rain garden. So I don't know if that makes it a little bit clearer for everyone.
I'll switch over to the commission in 1 second. A couple of quick questions. On this site plan, it says that approximately 3,156 square feet roof runoff to be discharged in 2 storm tech units shown on the plan. And I see a square that says garden system, and I see the next detail that,
So the infiltration system is now a garden system.
are there 2 storm tech systems?
I don't believe so. Daniel, is there a infiltration
That-
system?
That's erroneous. There won't be any storm sex systems on the site there. It'll just be the garden system for all the roof discharge.
So this note 3 is incorrect.
No, 3 is incorrect. That's right, Janet.
And then this garden system has pipes to drain it through. Is
It
that what
does.
he's showing here?
So there's a pipe shown coming out of the, I guess it's under the drive, the pipe is under the driveway to the house. It's the front rear of the system, comes out diagonally and then goes into the house.
Okay, then it says, under the notes, it has 115 square feet of existing house footprint is in the 25-foot buffer. 63 square feet of the existing garage is inside the 25-foot buffer. Then 340 square feet of proposed houses inside the 25-foot buffer. And now there's 484 square feet of proposed garage. But it looks like the garage is also inside the 25-foot buffer. Is
Just
that
a
part of
portion.
the 340 square feet?
Yes, such as just a portion of the garage is.
And that's part of this 340?
That's part of, yes, part of the calculation.
Okay. That helped clear some. Oh, and for the record, Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah,
And so Dave has joined the commission for the hearing. Okay, so I'm gonna go around and ask commission, Allison, any comments at this stage?
Is there anywhere where the new trees are shown? I can't see them on this plan.
So it's not
Unless
on
I'm
this
crazy.
plan. No, you're not crazy. There's another plan. There's a landscape plan.
Yeah, but it's not up now though, right? Yeah.
It's coming. Next,
good.
keep going. One more.
One more, there you go. So I did go out to the site and look and find those locations that were suitable for a tree. So they're not
Okay.
just randomly put on the plan.
Okay.
And then we tried to focus for the plantings, try to focus on pollinator plants.
Proposed addition, remove tree, remove tree, remove tree, garden system. Where's the proposed trees?
Expand
if-
Am I
down a little
blind?
bit. So
Front
it goes
portion?
move down a little bit. It's on the top of the sheet, other direction. There you go.
Oh, I
So the-
see. B,
I'm
N, B, M, N, B, N, B, N, B. Okay, I get it. Okay.
So actually, the proposed trees are in the front of the lot in that, if you scan up a little bit, Clay.
Yeah, they're on the left of the house in the front.
That's the area they had the most room for trees, so
So RM is, I'm assuming is red maple.
red
Okay.
maple, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
You have a
the,
sugar maple, red maples, and a box elder.
Elder. That's on the list, huh?
Yeah.
Wouldn't realize box elder was on the list. Okay. And then there's some perennials. Okay.
And we have some
Garden plants, winterberry.
milkweed.
So where are the garden plants shown. They
So
don't have
those-
symbols. They don't have
So
symbols.
So those are shown, they have the initials there, so the garden plants, I'm sorry, are are proposed in the rain garden.
Or in the garden. Okay, okay, in the garden. Okay. Okay. I guess the only oddity is to me is the box elder. I'm not sure. Is that on our list?
Where did I put it?
Debbie?
I believe I used your list.
Let me say,
It must be, but I've never.
I'll get back to
actually-
you. Do you?
I mean,
would
I
you
know what it
prefer something
is.
else? Would you prefer?
No,
something-
it's okay. If it's on the list, you can use it. It's not a great plant, but that's okay.
Do you want us to change it, put a silver maple in? We could probably put a silver maple in there.
Silver maple is a much bigger plant,
Okay,
much
so
bigger
we'll,
tree.
so we'll change that.
And the
That's
other
not a
thing is,
problem.
it's Acer rubrum. It's not run. Yeah, and it's saccharum. There's some spelling mistakes. It's
Yeah.
just, you want to just check your spelling.
Probably my handwriting, when it was transferred by the.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So you'd like a
Um,
sugar maple, that's
okay.
fine.
No, I don't want a sugar maple. Sugar
Oh,
maples won't
okay.
do well. They won't do well there. But you
Another
could do
red
a
maple?
shad. You could do like an amelanchier.
Okay.
You could do that. That doesn't get too big. It's nicer looking than a box elder. Box elder looks like a weed. I know if it's on the plant list, it's on a plant list. It is native, but I don't know. A shad is nicer. Okay, the only other question I had was just in general, I realized that part of the house is within the 25, but they're actually building new parts of the house in the 25. And I just want the commission to tell me that that's okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know that the commission needs to tell you that that's okay. We don't usually approve anything in the 25, but no building.
Even if, there's an assumption because there's an existing that they can build, they can replicate within the
It's our
25 since
choice.
existing building was there, right?
Yeah, it's our call. We get to
All right, well,
decide.
that's a discussion that I think Janet and everybody would, Dave and
Yeah,
Selena and
yeah, I
everybody
think
would
that is a.
entertain,
primary
okay?
discussion.
All right, that's it.
I was
That's it for me.
counting on Steven for bringing that one up. Steve, you wanna have any comments?
Sorry, just unmuting. Yeah, that's a good point, Allison. Personally, I guess I'm okay. It's a small lot and there was this building there. I really don't have an issue with what they proposed here, personally.
With the additional 150 square feet of additional building inside the 25 foot. You can keep thinking about it.
On the fence.
Do you have any other comments or questions about these plans?
No.
Okay, Dave? Dave, you have any comment or question?
Yeah, can you explain more how the rain garden works? And like all the drainage from the house is gonna go into the rain garden? So is there gonna be a perimeter pipe that directs all the water there? And how much storage does the rain garden have? Does it have the required 1 inch of runoff?
So we do have a pipe coming from the house, so that will collect the roof.
Yeah, so are all the gutters connected? Or will be,
Yes.
yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So the engineers looked at has provided calculations. That's not really my forte, but.
Where are the calculations?
So I believe. So the calculations would be on this page. I can't read that because it's too small.
Well, there were previous calculations for like an infiltration basin.
Mhm.
Information that's still on the
On the
drawing.
left under proposed.
Yeah, but my understanding now is that it's not going to be constructed, but rather a rain garden.
These calculations were
about
run
the
for
rain
the garden
garden.
system.
For the garden system as well? Okay,
Yeah, these calculations that you see presented there were run for the garden system. The only wrong note is on the first page under number 3, as he noted, with the storage mix system being there. All the other calculations are accurately done in terms of the runoff as well as the storage volume.
okay. So my final question is, what happens to runoff from the driveway?
The driveway is going to be done with pervious paver, so there shouldn't be any
That's right,
runoff.
yes.
They're gonna be 100%
Yes.
pervious? Okay.
So the rain garden, sorry, Dave, are you done? I'm still looking at these calculations. So 1 inch of storm. And then the storage volume provided by the crushed stone surrounding the 4-inch perforated PVC pipes. So there's pipes under the garden. And then there's plants. Like I just have never seen a rain garden like this. Perforated equalizing pipework. It's a different design that I'm not familiar with. So I would like to be more familiar with it. Sue? Where are you?
Yes. Yes, I thought we established the last meeting with 37 Mosley that there shouldn't be any new construction within the 25-foot. I mean, as long as I've been with the commission, it's been a very consistent, strict regulation. I thought we were establishing it at the last meeting.
I heard that. I heard that we were concerned about the work, about the proposed work within the 25-foot no disturb zone. So we can further that discussion. You've anything else? at
Oh,
this
for me?
moment? Yeah.
No, that I'm concerned about that. That's what I'm
That's
concerned
your
about.
concern.
Only because we're not being consistent if we allow something like that.
Mhm.
I
Paulina?
think also the existing shed to be removed, we kind of decided wasn't a shed.
It was kind of just a piece of wood that had fallen. It looked more like a boat raft, sort of, but maybe it was a shed at one time. Paulina?
I had the same concern as Sue. You don't want to set a precedent if we've never allowed anything being built within the 25-foot buffer zone.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my big concern. I think it's very unusual for us to approve something that is within a new building construction. We have, I think, maybe allowed patios inside previous lawn areas, but houses with foundations, I believe this is a full foundation that is being proposed. Is that true?
That is, yes.
So like this 18 by 16.2, that I guess I have concern on that amount of impervious area and that building so close to the wetland. But I am willing to hear what our other commissioners have to say about that. Anybody want to add anything at this moment, or should we ask if I mean, I think I'm a little confused about the rain garden because I haven't seen this before, but I can imagine the calculations. I think the landscaping looks okay. The plan is a little bit clearer.
I'm sorry, Janet, I have to jump off. So
Okay.
Daniel can take it from here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
No problem.
thank you.
Oh, I'm hearing somebody else talking, but maybe that was in Karen's thing. So I guess I guess we'll go to anybody in the audience. Clay, is there anybody with their hands up?
Yep, we currently have 2 hands. I will first allow Nancy Smith to come over. Just a moment.
Nancy Smith, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you. I have some
Can you
questions.
just say your name and your address for the record?
Sorry, I wrote that down to say and then I didn't say it. Nancy Smith, 29 Mosley. I will start at the top of my list. If maybe we could go back to that drawing. There is a marking on the plan. Miss Catroni had mentioned in the letter dated April 6th that there were 4 additions to the house. And there is a something that I can't quite figure out what it is. So it's to the right of the house. It's written in green and it says proposed addition. And the line goes to, it looks like it says 12.2. Bottom right, it's actually written in what would be my property. It says, yes, exactly that one. And I don't know what that is. It's not the front porch. It's not the side porch. It's not the addition. It's not the garage. It's, I don't know what that is.
I thought, it's interesting you bring that up because I thought that proposed addition was supposed to be pointing to the front where it says existing porch. I thought they were making that larger.
Oh,
That's
yes,
Daniel,
correct.
wait, is that correct, Dan? So that's just the arrow
Yes.
is pointing to the wrong thing.
Exactly. It's just the indicator arrow and we need to clearly change that to make it a better indicator.
excellent. I appreciate that. Can you tell me
No problem.
Can you tell me the dimensions of the new front porch that's a small addition?
It looks like 1.6 feet. I don't know the other dimension.
Nancy, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay,
Okay.
terrific. I appreciate that. Okay, there, oh, Karen is not on the call anymore. In reading through a lot of things, I was concerned about vernal pools kept coming up in my wonderings. And I'm wondering if there are any vernal pools anywhere in the no disturb or buffer zones?
She did not mention a vernal pool in her write-up, did she?
She did not.
Okay,
No, there are not any. vernal-
there are no vernal pools.
No.
No.
Okay,
And
so
I'm,
it is a
because-
wetland, but there's no vernal pool.
and because they're seasonal, I'm wondering, since this has only been occurring in the winter and spring season so far, there won't be one. They seem important and I don't want to,
Yeah, vernal pools are definitely important, but the difference, basically a vernal pool tends to be a depression. It might be in a woodland area or whatever, but it's a depression that
It's isolated.
it's isolated, and so fish can't get into it. So it wouldn't be next to like a stream or brook, because the idea is the other little critters can have, like the salamanders and the frogs and stuff, they have eggs there and the fish can't eat the eggs. So it's a vernal pool. It's special because they don't have the predators to, and then they all hatch and then they all hop into the stream.
got it. So not a worry. I'm curious, as are some of you, about the rain garden, the 16 by 24 rain garden. I'm wondering how it's different from the storm tech system, which was termed infiltration, and I don't understand what the difference is.
So the storm tech system was something that was going to be under the ground. It's basically a chamber system that is under the ground, and maybe somebody would put a driveway or grass or something over it. Because groundwater is very high, they couldn't fit something underneath there. The rain garden, even though some of this material, the stones and some of the soil and the pipes are under the ground, there will be plants like a garden over it. So the water will run through the pipes, the roof runoff, which is considered clean, runs through the pipes, and that feeds the garden. And it should be a very lush, happy garden is the idea.
And that's 2.5 feet above ground? Is that what
It's,
the,
no, it's not 2.5 feet above ground.
I've got
It's
so many
depressed.
here, I don't.
It's
should be-
depressed.
Oh,
the 2.5 feet should be below the ground. It shows the pea stone is the
Okay.
top surface. And
Uh,
it, and so there's a garden detail, so that where the little green squares are, that's the surface, that's the
Oh, I
ground.
see.
And the
Okay.
stone and the pipe is below that too, that's the underneath part.
Hey, Janet, it looks like the size of the rain garden is the same size as the infiltration system that was previously proposed. I don't think the storm tech system was ever proposed.
That's correct.
There was a infiltration system, the top of which was covered with pea stone or whatever. And it looks like the change that was made, and you could confirm this, was to put the garden on top of that, presumably to make it a nicer,
All
system.
plans do show a storm tech system.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think we established that was error,
Wasn't gonna work.
incorrect. It just hasn't gotten fixed
Oh.
yet.
Good, thank you. Would that rain garden, so it will deal with the roof runoff, will it also deal with the what's pumped out of the basement through the sump?
Absolutely.
They are saying that they're connecting their sump pump to their rain garden. Yes.
Okay, terrific. In terms of trees, can I go to trees next?
Sure.
It appears that one of the two 5-foot diameter trees is in the 25-foot no disturb zone, which will either be removed according to the plan, or if they leave it, the roots will be significantly negatively impacted by the excavating of the 18 by 16.2 cellar. How can that tree be preserved?
One of the trees that they're marking removed tree.
I believe it's the top one is the 5-foot diameter tree. I mentioned at the last meeting.
The
And
one
it's
that's in the garage.
in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying remove it.
They're saying remove, and the last meeting, we spoke about it not being and being preserved, etc.
Yeah, I thought it was the one next to the shed, but which is also showing being removed. But yes.
Yes, it could be either one. And as somebody smartly remembered, it's not a shed. It's barely a standing structure. It doesn't have any foundation to it. I took a bunch of pictures in case you want to see it. There's holes in the roof of it. You could blow it over. It's not a shed. It's a lean-to at best. But so those 3 trees that are in the 25-foot buffer zone are a concern, but particularly the 5-foot diameter tree, which is in the garage. What will happen with that?
Yeah. Well, I agree. I'm struggling with that also. And I guess I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I mean, under our regulations, they are allowed to come in and request removal of a tree. And we don't say that they can't remove a tree that's particularly large. We just say that they have to mitigate for that tree removal and plant 2 trees in place of a 1 tree that's coming out, which is unfortunate when it's a 5-foot diameter.
It's unfortunate.
So,
And even though it's firmly in the 20-foot buffer zone, does that not, that's not a concern?
well, we're concerned with the adding a building within the 25-foot no disturb zone. You've got a very good point.
I'm happy to let that stand or sit or hopefully stand. So according to this plan, those 3 other trees, I think I don't want to like beat a dead horse here, but I think they're integral to the wetlands, and I can't even imagine the process, how intrusive that would be in the 25-foot no disturb zone to take them down. I'm going to leave that dead horse alone. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the 18 by 16 by 2 addition. It's located both in the 50-foot buffer zone and the 25-foot no disturb zone. The 18 by 11.9 porch is in the 50-foot buffer zone. Are both of those going to be a full basement underneath?
I believe I heard yes. Daniel, is that true?
The current plan is yes.
Both
And
of
how-
them have full basements.
Full basement. And how deep is that hole dug typically?
It will ultimately depend on the water table, which, as you understand, is pretty high.
Yeah, I know. I deal with it daily almost. The 22 by 22 garage is also both in the 50-foot buffer and 25-foot no disturb zone. How far down do you have to dig for that slab?
Just 4 feet for frost wall protection.
4 feet. Thank you. What happens to the materials excavated from the 50-foot buffer and 25-foot no disturb zones? 2 questions: immediately after removing, and ultimately, where does it go?
Can you answer that, Daniel?
We'll reuse as much of the material as possible. The rest of it will have to be hauled away.
And when you dig it out, is it piled somewhere or is it immediately?
Yes.
It's piled and then
Somewhere on the site, it's piled somewhere probably where the rain garden is going to go. Would be my guess of this particular.
that's a lot of,
That would most likely be our intent. Yes.
and the material that's in the 25-foot wet zone is not like particularly preserved and cherished in any way. It's in that really precarious place, all piled.
No, the
right.
buffer zone actually, the soil is not a lot different than other soil. It's the surface and the habitat and the vegetation that we really like to preserve for the wildlife and the protection of the actual wetlands. The soil itself isn't not necessarily any different.
Good to know. When excavating, that large machinery that will be digging, particularly the 18 by 16.2 will be in the 25-foot no disturb zone. And whatever big machinery that comes there. How are the wetlands protected from those machines in that process?
We'll do our best to be careful in terms of the machinery and the access to those areas, as well as installation of a silt sock around the area of work to mitigate any of the runoff.
Okay, do the best.
Yeah. Yeah, you did remind me that the size of that silt sock is really too small, so something.
We can
to-
certainly increase it.
Yeah,
Okay. I see the proposed driveway has been changed to permeable pavers. It appears that for the driveway installation, they'll be digging down 12 feet along 1,440 square feet.
I don't think it's
thank-
12 feet. It must be 12 inches.
It's 12 inches. That must be a typo.
Okay, because that was very concerning.
That would be concerning to me as well.
Okay, so we're not worried that that is in the 150-foot buffer zone, that 12 inches is a commonly accepted practice.
12 inches is a commonly accepted practice for permeable pavers, and having them within the buffer zone is not one of our concerns.
Awesome. I'm almost done. Okay, so I think my overall, those were the minutia, and my overall issues are protection of the wetlands. The previous owner was a fierce protector of the wetlands, and maybe that has rubbed off on me in some way. I understand that wetlands are dynamic. They move, change shape, expand, and contract. The house was built in 1926. When 37 Mosley was built, there was no 25-foot no disturb zone. And over the years, and particularly in recent years, it has become that. So those structures that are there that are currently in an iffy place, the wetlands worked around rather than they were infringed on in a new kind of way. So I think it's relevant because as the wetlands overtook more and more of the property and conformed to the existing structure, I think there's some, and this may be my misunderstanding, it seems like we're being told there's a quid pro quo. If there is 50 feet of square feet that is today in the 25-foot no disturb zone, then 50 feet of new building in the no disturb zone, it's a wash. So I don't know. I think to say that parts of the house and garage currently in the 20-foot no disturb zone are equal to new construction in the 20-foot no disturb zone on this particular property is a false equivalency. And you can't subtract what's there now and say we're only adding this much. So I just find it to be misleading and untrue.
That's certainly not our intention.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're showing what's existing and then what's proposed. And they definitely are showing that they're increasing the square footage within the 25-foot buffer. We can, as a commission, we, do not tend to suggest that people remove their house that's within the 25-foot buffer. If they were to take down the house that stands there now, we would definitely encourage them to move it outside of that 25-foot buffer. As you've heard, we're all struggling with the proposed addition that's within the 25-foot buffer. So we haven't quite come to terms with that.
I think I'd like to just give a really stark example. I think several times the garage was referred to, and you've probably seen pictures. Again, you could blow it down. That garage is not on a slab. It's built on dirt. It's a dirt floor, and it is 216 square feet right now. And if you removed it, you would barely disturb the ground that it's on. The 480 square foot new garage requires significant excavation for the slab, both in the buffer zone and the 25-foot no disturb zone. So I think I've heard that we're subtracting 216 from 484, saying we're going to take it from here and put it there. And I don't buy it. And it's not what happens. And it can look like that on paper, but it's right there. It's not that.
Thank you. I'm not sure where the existing garage is on. Oh, there it is, the back corner, that red.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
I'm happy to show pictures of the garage or the shed should you want to see them.
I think we're good at the moment. We did see some pictures last time, but maybe, well, anybody in the commission want to see more pictures? We did see them last time. I don't know if we were all here, but give a yell if you'd like to see
I
them.
was wondering if I could say one thing to
Yes.
to Nancy's comment, that I think the existing garage, while it's within the 25, or within, and it's like a one-car garage. It's a small little garage.
Yes.
Whether or not it's on dirt or I understand that if you were to remove it, if it's just on dirt, it would be very little disturbance to the surrounding. But it's just a one-car garage. The new garage looks like a two-car garage.
Right.
I do wonder if you'll even be able to get into it, because you have to have at least the near side with a turning radius. You'll have to do maybe a 5-point turn or something to get into the garage the way it's oriented. But in any event, that's neither here nor there. But I do worry about that garage in the 25. I think it's a precedent. I don't know. I do worry about it. I think we're really got to grapple with this, Janet.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm definitely struggling with this one.
Yeah.
I'd say that my final thoughts are, is it possible to build on this foundation as it is? Or a plan that doesn't involve the 25-foot do not disturb zone at all? It appears you're proposing a 2.5-story home, can that be accomplished on the existing footprint? And I think, to the extent they've been explored, I do not know, but those wetlands, you don't get them back.
Yeah, we appreciate your passion for wetlands.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clay, you said you had somebody else in the audience?
Yep, we have 2 more hands raised. Just a moment while I shuffle people here. Next person we have up is listed as Peter Kerr. I'm moving them over now.
Peter Kerr? I see you, you're on mute, and if you want to unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, you have the floor.
Hi, Peter Kerr, 42 Mosley Avenue. I just wanted to add a few things. I was at the last meeting, and I do remember somebody from the commission had asked about the basement construction in particular and how that would work, considering how high the water table is and what processes they would put in place to handle the water, since they hit water pretty quickly when they were doing their soil test not too far away. And just more of a general comment, I think most of the plans and comments I've seen are comparing the current image versus the future image and how much square feet is permeable, non-permeable in the 25-foot, not in the 25-foot. But there's not a lot of talk about the process. I mean, if you're digging foundation, it's not just, okay, now I have a new size. You're digging and potentially damaging tree roots, equipment all over nearby, and potential impact to the wetlands through that whole process. So it's not just a matter of looking, here's the end result, here's how it's going to look. It's what are all the different things you have to do? I know you talk about putting the socks around, and that's part of it, but I think there's probably more involved, considering especially that the water table there is very high. And I believe last meeting, somebody also mentioned that some of the measurements, and I don't know if this is really significant, they're just typos. Some of the measurements don't match up with what the town records show. They have the square footage of the house is about 800. I think the town has it somewhere around 650 or somewhere like that. I don't have the numbers with me right now. And I see a few typos. The letter that was sent with the last proposal had one of the additions as 19 by 18, but the diagram shows it as 11.9 times 18. So it's kind of hard to know exactly how all these square footage numbers are, if they're really tying out correctly, because some of the numbers are a little hard to follow. And I think most of the other things that I had, Nancy has already thoroughly discussed earlier. So those are my main concerns as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Clay, you have one more?
Yep, there's still one more hand raised. Just a moment while I shuffle people around. All right, the next hand raised that I'm bringing in is Barbara Cataldo.
I don't see her yet. Barbara Cataldo, you are on mute at the moment, but if you want to unmute yourself and give your name and address for the record, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. So Barbara Cataldo, I'm 24 Mosley Avenue, and I'm with my husband, Richard. And we thank you that you've brought this back to the table and taken so much time for all of us. We moved here approximately 13 years ago. One of the endearing things of moving here was the fact that we lived on another part of town that was a very busy area. And what I found most enchanting was there were no street lights because it was so woody. And obviously it was conservation land. And we're very respectful of that conservation land. And we thank you that you have all joined this committee to make sure that the whole town is aware of what we should be doing to save our trees and everything else. So I thank you for everything. I do want to bring a few points out. There might be a little bit of redundancy, but with a reason why. The first is definitely And it might be for naught, but I am concerned about the fact that what the town has listed on the assessor's page is a much smaller footprint than what the owners have listed as the footprint. And I don't know if that will impact what the wetlands look like, because they look like they're covering greater amount of space. And then they want to add on to that. But the garage is only listed at 216 square feet in the assessor's database in town. And I believe that they were, I now have moved my page that had it written there.
236.
474. And at the same time, their house is listed as being at 802 square feet. And your assessor's database has it on 672 square feet. And maybe it doesn't make a difference, but we are talking wetlands and we're talking footprints. And I am concerned about the fact we're talking about moving trees. And because this is such an endearing area, the thought of the loss of trees, those are trees that have been here for decades. They're so large, obviously. And I'm torn over the fact that they're going to be removed. I don't know if there's any way to protect them, protect their roots. I hate to think that we build around them and then the roots die because we dig down and put foundations in there. So I have to state that. I'm also really concerned about the garden, the rain garden. So in doing so and looking at this, I don't know how I missed it when I first downloaded everything, but I did. But in looking at it, I'm not quite sure what kinds of plants these are, although they look like willows. But nonetheless, what I'm really concerned about is this is a very shaded area. So to develop and collect water to create a garden, nothing is growing on the floor basically because of the very tall treetops. It's more of that rainforest effect. So we're taking away the trees. And is this the trade-off? We create a rain garden in which we have low-level greenery instead of these lush, beautiful trees that are so tall from the decades of living out there. And so I really do have concern that if the trees are there, the rain garden really won't grow. And if we remove the trees, I believe that we're going to lose the essence of what those wetlands are because those trees have been there so long. So I really felt that I had to ask that, or at least state that, as well as the concern about the footprint not being anywhere near the same as what the town has. And maybe the town isn't accurate, but they tax us based on those numbers. And that concerns me if their footprint is going to be larger. And then the last thing that I'm concerned about is, and I think Allison brought up about the garage. So we put this 2-car garage, and I'm presuming that part is on slab. Did I misunderstand that, or is that, I'm not a builder.
Yes, that's on slab. They were gonna go down 4 feet for the frost level.
Understandable, but it also does disrupt the rootings of the trees, because when you get to be that old, those roots don't go down, they go out. And so that means disruption of those roots. And if they disrupt those roots, those trees will most certainly die at such an old age. And I would hate to think that we are saying we're taking care of the trees, but by putting things in the ground, we're really not taking care of the roots of the trees. And then they have to take them down automatically. So I really feel I had to say that. The last thing I will ask is if and when the last time anybody from the commission was able to go over and actually look at the property now that the greenery is starting to come out at the top, to take a look at where the shadows are and what can actually grow on the ground and where the footprint of the home is currently. Mr. Smith was a quirky but wonderful soul. He cared about the land. He would do nothing to harm an ant, literally. And so we know how much he loved it. It's our way of trying to preserve his heritage of what he did for the land in the many, many years that he lived there. But I am concerned with all these buildings and how they're being set up, that one, by putting the weight of this house on underneath, will the basement walls collapse in any way, the interior ones? And now the damage is done because we put new basement walls in. You're going to have to expand the basement. And it just, what is it doing to the wetlands, and what is it doing to those tree roots that are so close to the home? I totally disagree with their request to take down the 3 largest, most beautiful trees on the property. I really do. And I have to say, so I respect that they bought the property. I understand they want to build on it. It's a beautiful property. It's 35,000 square feet. So little of it is buildable though, and taking the trees away so that we can put a structure in there just seems irresponsible. So I thank you very much. I would invite all of you though, now that it's spring and God knows the 90 degrees we had today, everything came out, to drive by again and take a look at those shadows, because if we're going to put in that rain garden, I don't believe anything is going to grow with that kind of topiary at the top.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Your input. So commissioners, what do we want to do as far, there's definitely some changes to the plans. We've had some interesting input from the abutters. We do not typically permit work within the 25-foot no disturb zone, particularly a house structure that equipment will need to get right there next to the wetland to excavate for the addition that's 18 by 16.2. Do we want to give the developer some direction, the applicant some direction in how to take this plan? Who has an opinion? Paulina?
I wonder if we could see
Janet?
an alternative analysis maybe of what if we constructed this house without a garage? Or what if we constructed it with that, what is it, 18 by 16, the side that's closest to the wetland, if it was shifted over, and if we didn't have a garage and we didn't have that driveway extending that far back, if that little 18 by 16 can be pushed somewhere else that's outside of the.
Yeah,
25
yeah, I think
Or just
that's
rearrange the
certainly-
house in a different way so that the garage is in the front, kind of attached in the front somehow. So,
my guess is that there's a setback as far as putting the garage in the front of the house, but
There's a side setback too.
coming up with a plan that removes any proposed building within the 25-foot no disturb zone is certainly an option. Sue, you have something to add?
Yeah, three things. I agree with Paulina. I think there should be an alternative plan. No way. I don't think it's right at all for us to give a permit for a building in the 25-foot new construction like that. And number two, I think the rain garden should be looked, I think there should be a site visit. I think the rain garden should be studied a little bit more, the way they have it arranged. I don't know whether it was just a dry well before when there wasn't anything underground originally. I don't know. But if that rain garden is going to work, and number two, and number three, the three trees that are coming down, are those coming down to build, I've forgotten the plan now, to build that new garage?
They would be coming down, I believe, to build the addition as well as the garage. They're
So-
right on one of them is inside of the garage, one of them is on the adjacent to the garage, and one of them is adjacent to the addition.
So if the garage were, if there were an alternate plan for the garage, would it leave enough room to save a couple of those trees? Also,
That's a good point of interest, because I agree with you on that. It would be nice to, I mean, they are large trees. I think we should plan a site visit, and that's a great idea. They are very large trees, and we don't typically allow buildings within the 25-foot no disturb zone, which I thought we kind of had said the last time that the applicant was in front of us. So anybody else have anything that they'd like to add at this stage? I think the options at this stage are the applicant can request a continuance so that we can do a site visit and understand that we would prefer to see no work, no buildings within the 25-foot no disturb zone. And we would like to see the trees protected, at least some of them, if not all three of them. And if you'd rather us vote now, we could vote now.
No, I will certainly ask for a continuance. We can do the site visit and we can speak directly about some alternative plans. Not a problem, Janet. And I
Great.
appreciate all of your concerns, neighbors, board alike. Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. So do you think you'd like to continue to our next meeting on April 27th, or would you like longer than that?
The next meeting should be fine. If we need an extension, we'll let you know.
Okay. So can I have a motion? I think we can plan a site visit. Sue, do you have something more to add, or do you just have your hand still up?
I'm sorry. Did I take it down? I'm done.
Sure. Okay. Should we plan a site visit now while we have and if any, do we need you at the site, Daniel, or can we visit the site? Is nobody living in the property? Is that true?
Nobody's living on the property. If possible, I would love to be there when you do visit, just so we can discuss everything firsthand while we're present there.
Okay, we can't have any deliberations while we're on site because it about the open meeting law, but you're certainly welcome to talk, and we just can't deliberate amongst ourselves.
Not a problem. I appreciate the opportunity.
So site visit, do people want to do during the week, morning, afternoon, or a weekend? Raise your hand if you want during the week. During the week, morning or afternoon? Morning?
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. All right, during the week, morning. So Monday is Patriots Day. Is that not a good day? Are people going away for the weekend? You
I can do
walk.
it then.
I can do it. I'm here.
Patriots Day, Monday, does that work
Yeah.
for Stephen?
Yeah.
Paulina?
I would have to check, how early in the morning? Can it be really early?
I'm thinking 8.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking 6. We could all
No,
do
but
our
I didn't want
jog
it to be
over
like
there, get our
11.
morning exercise. How does 8 o'clock on Monday, the 17th work for people?
I'm good.
Okay, so Daniel, does that work for you?
It does. I'll be there.
Okay, so Monday, April 17th, site visit. April 17th at 8 o'clock. And we will continue this till April 27th, 2023. Can I have a motion? This says at 7:30, this agenda, but we're not really moving to 7:30, right? This is just a typo on the agenda. Okay, can I have a motion to continue? 37 Mosley
I move
Avenue,
we continue until the next meeting.
April 27th.
I second.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Stephen,
Aye.
Paulina, Allison, Sue,
Aye.
Dave,
I
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much. See you in a couple, well, see you Monday.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is
Thank you.
36 Elder Road, DP file number 234899. This is the continued notice of intent. 39 Elder Road. We've got a plan that showed a planting plan. And I'm not really remembering this. Maybe when was it here?
So this is,
Anyway.
I'm in front of, yes, Diane from Field Resources. I'm here for the contractor Trip Pace, who is building this for his sister. And they will be living in the house once it's completed. So we were in the meeting, we were originally slated for the last meeting. There was some confusion in our office and each of us thought somebody notified the abutters. So that was identified prior to the meeting. So we asked for a continuance so we can get.
Have you presented anything to us?
No.
Oh, that's why I don't remember. I
That's
only
what-
have this one plan. I'm like, why do I only have one plan? Okay, I just didn't go back and look at the other stuff. But anyway, sorry. Okay.
So the planting plan is one of the plans that we submitted with the notice of intent. And if I could share a screen with you all, I can bring up primary plan. Is that okay?
Yes. Wait a minute. Can you do it? I know
Uh,
Clay just stepped out for a minute.
Yep. Do you all see that or?
Yep.
Okay. So here we see the existing conditions for 36 Elder. And I think just FYI, so you all know, I believe Tripp, who is the contractor, is on with us this evening as well.
Can you hear us, Trip? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you all.
So this is the existing house. Currently, there's single family home, decks, a patio, a variety of sheds, pallets, a walkway to the basement, kind of a mishmash of stuff behind the house. Additionally, in the back, there's a variety of mishmash. And I said log, I'm sorry. The log pile, some wood, wooden pallets, which looked like there was cordwood at one time, which it seems as though the homeowner, as working through this project, has been burning. A shed, and then the side of the shed is kind of like a lean-to that has coverage as well. Additionally, we have the Herd Brook in the back, which has some associated bordering vegetative wetlands that currently their buffers and riparians over or supersede onto the lot. And then we'll move over to proposed conditions, unless anyone has any questions on existing.
Nope, keep going.
Okay, so we'll move on to the proposed. So as you can see, the single family home is relatively in the same spot. We're removing all this mishmash of stuff in the back. I know typically the, some of this in the back is, say log pile, the relatively large logs, and there are some pictures in the application. I'm not sure if you all looked at that. I can pull that up as well. They're quite large and they're quite high. So we'd like to remove them because they are hazardous. We're also proposing to remove the shed and then replace that with a shed that's further away from the wetlands. We're proposing the play area in the single family home. In regards to the regulations, we are moving the shed further away from the wetlands and the riverfront. Additionally, the planting plan shows this area here that is hatched up to be revegetated with a fence running along the back of or in front of that area. So the single family home, the impervious is just with the patio, and the drive is just, I think it was 906 square feet more than the existing site. With that, we added 2 trenches for recharge, both of which will include HDXL 150, which will accept the 1-inch storm for the single family home. Additionally, there are 2 trees coming down, and in the planting plan, we are replacing or we do follow the Town of Needham's bylaw, tree removal bylaw, and we're adding trees to mitigate for those. We, and with all this work that we're proposing prior to any work, obviously, we will put in our erosion control, which is also shown on the plan.
How big is your erosion control? Just because I forgot to print that plan.
Yeah, the erosion control is a 12-inch wattle. It's relatively flat lot. You know, the front of the lot here is 198 and the back is 197. So it's really flat. But of course, you know, most of the erosion control and for this particular site would be for any of the dig fill that will be removed from the foundation or for the foundation, which of course eventually will be removed from the lot.
What types of trees are coming down?
Honestly, I don't know the type of tree, but the one in the front They're both relatively small. The one in the front, I believe, is a 12-inch. The one in the back is slightly smaller. So again, they're not large trees, but this particular one is just kind of close to the driveway, and we're not sure as to the survivability with all the work. And we are, if you look at the planting plan, I do have that as well. We do have a plan tree going right back, basically in the same, proximity of the removed tree. And we
How
have
big are the proposed trees?
anywhere between 1.5 and 2 inch. And we can take a look at that. I'm not sure if you all had the chance to take a look at the planting plan.
So Diane, the symbol for the flowering dogwood and
is this here.
they're the same. So is the dogwood going in the front?
Both trees will be dogwoods.
But what
Homeowners,
about the swamp white oak?
was either or, I should say.
Oh.
I believe that's what I had.
They're
correct?
very different.
Well, the symbols were the same. That's why I said or in the thing here, swamp, white oak, or dogwood, right?
So,
So-
but are you planning on putting one, like the swamp white oak in the back and the dogwood in the front, or does it matter? They could be either or.
The homeowner said she wanted the flowering dogwood. She didn't specifically say if she was gonna put both in or one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Do you know if?
Yeah, she'll want the flowering one in the front and she'd
Yeah.
like the swamp oak in the back.
All right. I'll let the commission ask some questions. First. Stephen, you have anything to ask at this stage?
No comments.
David?
Were the site plans submitted? Because I didn't have them in my package.
Yep.
I
Believe-
feel like I saw some of the photos. Oh, no, I saw the photos in your additional narrative. And then because I feel like I only had this plan. Were they part of our package? Because I printed, that's why I was confused. I printed the landscaping plan and the additional narrative. And I'm like, wait, I saw a photo somewhere, but that was.
I
in
didn't
this.
get the site plans. So,
Are they in the?
I mean, it looks fine. My only question is where were the test pits?
Yeah, can you tell us where the test pits were done?
The test pits, I believe there's one done in the back here.
They're actually they were done exactly where you see those proposed infiltration systems. Yep. Yeah, that's where we did those test pits. That's why they're there.
Anything else, Dave?
No, looks fine.
Paulina?
No comments.
Sue?
I'm fine, but I just had a quick question on the side. When within the 100-foot riverfront, when there are trees taken down, did we run into something where there wasn't enough mitigation plan? Do you remember that?
We did. Yeah, that was on Dedham Ave. Is there anything similar
I don't know. That's what
Deb, on this one? I know that one thing that I haven't gotten to yet is that DEP asked, I had a lot of comments.
Well, Clay has done a lot of work on this, so he has feedback.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one isn't as robust as the 311 Dedham Ave in the scope of work and changes. But I attended on Monday a workshop with DEP with our circuit rider for the riverfront standards. And then we were pulling the information from DEP's comments back for 311 Dedham Ave. And then also DEP did issue comments for this one, which didn't really elaborate on much, but just said that the performance standards must be met pursuant to 310 CMR 1058 5A through H. which is
Which is
the
riverfront.
redevelopment and riverfront. And so I was going through some of those standards, and I believe Diane today submitted just some additional information, some supplemental information on the DEP comments. The only concern that I had was when looking at the numbers. First, I think that the log piles and the wooden pallets were included on the impervious areas in the 100-foot inner riparian, and I think that DEP previously has said that that doesn't constitute degraded. They have a very narrow scope of what's degraded, and I don't think in this case they would constitute that as being impervious and a net benefit. They're relatively small in the scope of work. It's more that the net change in impervious surface between both the inner and outer riparian, I believe for redevelopment still has to meet that 2-to-1 mitigation. So I think that there's more calculations. There needs to be a greater conversion of lawn essentially towards the back. I know they have the back corner there with the restoration, the mitigation area. I think that that's not quite within what is existing lawn. I think it's still forested up to the back of the existing shed. And even maybe to the sides of the shed. But when I was pulling the numbers, Diana, I wasn't quite sure the existing or the change in impervious for the outer riparian, as you said earlier, was listed at about 905 square feet. And then I did note that the driveway and the patio are both listed as pervious as well as the walkways. That number seemed high to me just because
No. The patios and the drive are proposed drives.
just
pervious-
proposed.
The pervious walk is pervious, but the patio and the drive is not.
Okay,
pervious.
that's where that number, the extra
Yeah.
number was accounting for. So with the 905 square foot change in impervious surface, the mitigation area still needs to be essentially 2-to-1. So I think instead of the 470 square foot mitigation area to meet the standards that DEP was looking for previously, we still have to meet up to, I think the ballpark was about 1,300 square feet.
Okay. Now, my understanding was you had to do the 2-to-1 if you're getting closer to the riverfront. So whatever area that you're getting closer to is what you have to mitigate for to the 2-to-1, not total.
I believe that the not getting closer is one of the standards, but it's the mitigation is still separate from that. The mitigation is still for the whole site riverfront area. And it is a bit confusing. And as I said, I attended a workshop because this is about clear as mud to me as well. And the workshop was pretty useful, but it seems that they went through a couple of case studies, and it seems that you shouldn't be getting closer, that there has to be a site, a net improvement across the site. And I believe that standard is being met. The mitigation, though, for redevelopment still had to occur. It can occur 1-to-1 where you have degraded areas, and they define that degraded as being impervious surfaces. Certainly the I think 14 feet decrease in size of the shed can go towards 1-to-1 mitigation, but that's really a drop in the bucket. And while you're not getting closer, you still have to meet that, especially because in this case, the existing impervious surface across the whole site is still greater than the 10% degraded areas. You're starting with a site that's already above the 10% degraded, so you have to mitigate for all additional impervious because you're over that 10% since the lot prior to 1996, however that reads.
Mhm. So if we were to make something impervious like the patio, I mean, again, that would substantially bring it down. I mean, obviously the drive, these are discussions we'd have to have. But if we were to make some additional items impervious.
Pervious, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, pervious. That would go towards that 900 square feet.
Yeah,
it's
everything
fine.
that can be converted to pervious from the proposed impervious reduces the amount of mitigation required. And I would like another opportunity to run at these numbers. My understanding of the riverfront is relatively new knowledge based on this week's workshop. And I would like to connect with DEP because I think that I think what triggered their comment to meet those standards is in the NOI, the WPA form. There was a list, it was easy to miss, but it was incorrect. It looked like there was going to be 18,000 square feet of alteration, and that's the size of the lot. So I think that they might have just blanket said, okay, we can't have that much, and clearly that's not what's being proposed here. We're not proposing to degrade the whole lot. So I would like to connect with DEP and just confirm what they're looking for. But I do believe that even if the patio and the driveway were made pervious, you'd still have to have a little bit more of the mitigation area towards the back.
Yeah, and it's so you're confident that it's not a function of proximity and getting
No,
closer.
it's not. We just went through 311 Dedham with DEP because they were going to supersede it because there wasn't enough of the mitigation plantings, and the plantings that were proposed were within existing forested area. So they made it clear that it needed to be a reduction in lawn area, and that it was 2-to-1 based on the additional impervious. So, since it just happened, we, have a pretty good understanding about what they're looking for. And we know based on their comments that they are looking at this.
Yeah, no, I know that.
So
Yeah, I know they've been pretty tight on riverfront standards lately.
they have, and they've kind of tweaked it a little bit. So,
Yeah.
It's more difficult. But, so I went to the site, and I know behind the shed, there is a lot of debris and such. And there are some trees, and it's not really like a lawn area. So,
No, but it's not forested. That's why we're gonna plant.
well, there are trees back there.
There are some trees, yes.
Yeah. So
But if
they're really kind of confirmed that they want less lawn and have that turned into the mitigation areas. So
we do show the edge of lawn here.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, Clay has pictures if that
edge
helps.
So we definitely do not want to have DEP come back to us and try to supersede one of our orders again. So I don't know, Diane, if it makes sense for you to, have a off camera conversation with Clay to make sure that the numbers are meeting what he just went through, that to make sure we're all, that it makes sense for what DEP wants.
Yeah.
I would like them not to supersede us again, not to appeal one of our orders.
No,
I think the general design with the house and the chambers seems reasonable. I would like to see the size and the type of trees that are being removed. But
you want to see any pictures? I did take pictures of the trees and such.
Sure, since if you have them up, ready.
Okay.
That's
so
the one
that-
in the back?
Yep.
Is that the one being removed in the back?
Yeah. Yep. So that's kind of the area issues. So that's the shed. So that's behind the shed where you were going to plant. So I don't know if it's, necessarily lawn. So
No,
that's
that was the edge. Yeah, that we had an edge of woods layer. So from tree to tree is what we did, edge of woods.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say where the lawn actually starts because it's mossy and there is some leaf litter, and
Yeah,
they actually had a boat back there at one point.
yeah, they have a couple still behind the house.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And the site has changed. That Tripp's family has owned it now, I think, for a little bit. So things
Mhm.
slowly are cleaning up in the yard. Things are being removed, but like I said, there was a boat behind there. at
Yeah,
one point.
there's lots of like debris piles of various different things. So yeah, so that's another log pile, and then there's just kind of random piles of different types of debris back there.
That's all the photos.
Any commission members have anything else to add before we ask the audience?
Just, I do one thing.
Allison?
The
Yep.
fence, and you may show it on your details, but I can't remember that the fence is up a little bit so that the animals can get under.
It will be, yes.
Yeah.
Tends to be up. Anything else, commission members? Is there anybody in the audience that has anything?
There are no hands raised.
Okay. Do you want to continue this to our next hearing and you can figure out the square footage of mitigation that needs to occur?
We will ask for a continuance.
Excellent. Can I have a motion to continue 36 Elder Road, DP file number 2348899 until April 27th at 7 o'clock?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. Great. Continued. Thank you very much. See you in a couple weeks.
Well, in a few minutes.
Oh, in a few minutes. Okay. Now, so next on the agenda is 1616 Great Plain Avenue, DP file number 234900.
I know.
Notice of intent. Okay, and Diane, you are here for the applicant and you have property owners with you, I see?
Yep, property owner and the developer are both here this evening.
Caroline, can you hear us and can you?
Hello.
Hello, this is Frank
Hello.
and Caroline, husband and wife,
We
the
have to
owner.
mute-
Yeah, it's
mute on.
a mute already.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep,
Hello,
you're good.
everybody.
We can hear you. Excellent. Well, that's mostly. I had 16. All right, 16. I grew up just down a few doors away at 1646 Great Plain Ave. Okay, so what would you like to tell
Right.
us?
Sure. So again, Diane from Field Resources. I'm here this evening for 1616 Great Plain Ave. This again is another single family home. And could I share our screen with us?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So here we have existing conditions. This again is, Janet, as you said, 1616 Great Plain Ave, very familiar to you, but maybe not so much for others. We have a portion of Fuller Brook here, which is a intermittent portion of Fuller Brook, which also the lot has some bordering vegetated wetlands, which is associated, even though you had an application recently that says it was not associated, but it is connected with some pipes to Fuller Brook. Within this wetland area, there's two pipes that actually connected to there's currently there is a single family home behind this lot, and this area to the east side is it's a paved driveway. So I just want to kind of bring that to your attention. It's not shown on the plan because it's not a part of the property, but it is a paved driveway on the east side of the property. Currently, there's some planting beds, existing lawn, single family home, rather large driveway, all within the buffer to the wetlands in the back and to the wetlands from the intermittent portion of Fuller Brook, which again is on this side of the property, on the east side. Now we'll move on to the proposed
So there's
house.
pipes, but the pipes are not shown on this plan. Is that what you're telling us?
We do have them located. I don't have them specifically drawn out in the plan here, but they do. I do mention it only because the application in the back that I did look through to make sure we're all on the same page, it says it was wasn't connected, but it is connected. There's pipes there. There are two I don't know what kind of pipes, honestly, but they're like 6 or 8 inch pipes that go under the driveway to the wetland area.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we can put that on the plan if it's something you'd like to see on the plan. And here we have this, the proposed single-family home. The home currently, the current home is in red, which has a rather large patio that comes around and goes to the back side of the single-family home. Again, we have the driveway coming in with a side entry garage. And we have the infiltration. We have some plantings. The edge of lawn is currently just in front, just behind the shed to be removed, which also has a fence, a little snow fence that looked like it was yard debris at one point, which we will remove that in the shed. That's why we have plantings back here to kind of fill in the area that's currently void of any types of plantings. Currently, there is a variety of invasives back there, which we will do some cleanup on our property. It does extend to the property in the back. But again, the existing lawn does go right up to basically where we show the proposed infiltration. Excuse me. I mean, I'm sorry, the erosion control. We do mitigate for recharge from the single family home. We are protecting all the trees on the east side of the property. Currently, there are 2 trees in the back right behind the single family home that's currently there. We are going to transplant them to the back over behind, over by where the existing shed is, so we can preserve those. In addition, we have some proposed plantings to be added. We
Is it a
propose,
different plan than we had? It looks different than the one I'm holding in my hand.
I don't think so. Again, we have this.
Well, we had a few revised plans for this.
Oh,
Right.
because the
yes.
infiltration system is turned differently.
Yes, yes.
So this
And-
is the most updated.
And I'm just thinking that this may not be. Now that-
Okay.
The one
Yeah.
I have says revised April 3rd.
Yeah, this is not. a revision.
So I guess one of my questions is, how reasonable is it that those trees to be relocated will actually survive? How big are they?
They're,
Pictures, they're multi-stem,
mhm.
so they're not one 15-inch DBH tree. They're counting the different stems on it.
So does that mean it's a reasonable thing to relocate?
I think they probably are. Yeah, and if we show pictures later, I can point them out.
It also depends on when they're going to dig it.
Yep.
You can't dig it when it's in leaf. Or
We'd like to do it soon. We could do it. We could do it tomorrow if it's something the
you do it
commission.
tomorrow.
No, well, really, we can do it tomorrow in the sense that if that's something you can give permission
Can you
to.
maybe put up those pictures, Clay? It might help with the discussion.
And then that way we could get them situated so we have a better success rate.
Those are the two trees.
Are they Kusas? Are they Kusa
again,
dogwood?
They might be.
Yeah.
They-
They're gonna have a really big ball on them. I mean, to make it, I mean, they're gonna have to have like a 8-foot ball or 7-foot, big ball. On the first one anyways, which looks bigger than the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to get it before it leaves out, or the flowers come later if it's a Kusa, before the buds open, or you lose it. And I mean, it's like 50% less likely that it will survive, in which case then you'd have to wait till it's dormant. Sometimes people will spray with any desiccant, but it's just not, your risk is huge. You can try it, you might be successful, but the sooner you can do that, the better. And you have to put a really big ball on it, and they can do it with a Vermeer, or they can hand dig it.
so you'd have to have an arborist on board.
And when you
Okay.
say
Yeah.
dormant, do you mean dormant like in the fall? Or is it after? it
Yes,
flowers?
when it's set buds, which would be, in November,
So you're saying now
early
is
November, because no, you could do it now, but you have to do it now.
You can do it now,
before the
or you have
buds
to wait till
break.
November.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
And they're not proposing any tree removal,
No.
just.
right? So
Interesting.
these aren't required mitigation plantings that need monitoring.
Well, we do have proposed,
They're really beautiful.
You
right.
do what, Diane?
Well, we will have plantings, so that typically will have a overview of 2 years anyway,
Well,
or not for.
I mean,
Well, one of them is
it
within
could
the
cost
buffer.
you,
if you're
it could
not
cost you, like-
removing trees, then you're not gonna have required
Yeah.
mitigation.
yeah.
'Cause you're
I
not in
mean, to
riverfront
move
area.
these.
No.
Yeah.
This is
It
this
could
is
cost like
Garrett Federer, the
$3,000 a
builder.
piece.
Yep,
This is
Garrett?
Garrett Federer, the builder. I'm on. Yeah, the whole point of trying to save these trees is because they are beautiful Kusa dogwoods. So we're trying to move them to just not be like we're going to cut them down and replant
Right.
something. We want to move them with the intention of trying to save them because they're beautiful trees. So
we figured that part.
yeah,
So
so
we just want to
we
make sure
want
that
we
it's
want to
successful.
do whatever we can to move them quickest to make them survive.
Okay. Okay, so keeping that in mind, moving up the trees. Who else would like to speak? Stephen, do you have anything to add?
I'm all set, thanks.
Dave?
If the trees need to be removed right away, is it possible we can give approval for that?
I think we could. I think I think as a commission, we can have that discussion and see if we can have them moving quickly.
We could do some kind of administrative approval.
Oh, good. Yep, like,
wanted
turns out we
to.
can.
I think that's
Okay.
what everybody wants the trees to try to be saved anyway, right?
Yeah. Paulina? You didn't come off mute.
Sorry, having trouble there. I don't have any comments.
Thanks. Sue?
No comment.
Allison, anything more?
No, just before you do it, sort of make sure that there's some water on it and it's done by a professional. Bulb and burlapped and
Okay.
drum tied and all that stuff, and moved very carefully, because the roots of Kusa dogwoods are kind of soft. They're not that tough.
I think the only other thing I'd like to add, though, is, you have been on this meeting all night with us and hearing about the 25-foot no disturb zone and trying to increase that buffer. So is it possible to pull your lawn back a little bit so that we get a little bit more of that 25-foot no disturb zone back of the wetland that you have? You're planting along it, but it would be nice if we could have a little bit more. I think you probably heard everybody talking about the Mosley Ave and trying to not work within that 25 foot at all possible. So
Can I
Uh,
share the screen again so we can take a look at that?
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, we did revegetate.
What were all those lines too? There's a whole bunch of lines I was
Lots
confused
of
with. They were
lines.
meaning.
Yeah, it's a function of it, erosion control, the fence, edge of lawn, it all kind of falls in the same area. So yeah, it tends to be a little confusing unless we blow it up a little bit more for you. So we have the edge of lawn, we have a proposed fence, and then we have yeah, the proposed fence. edge of
Erosion
lawn,
control.
Erosion control, yeah, so there's a variety of things there. So we are vegetating, I believe it's almost 500 square feet of additional lawn area. We could do a little bit more, I'm sure. If, you know, if we, is that something?
Well, I think I feel a little bit better about it now. And the planting bed that is also like, where are we? To the like left of the house, in the backyard. I assume that you 100% that the property owners understand that that is going to be changed completely. If there's plants there that they're expecting to survive because you're regrading the whole thing. So I just want to make sure they're aware. As soon as you move that 189 contour back and you bring the one, I mean, you're filling it a foot, so.
Yeah, we have to do that because of the water table. Unfortunately, that
Yeah,
was.
so the planting bed, like if there's plants in that planting bed that you're hoping are, you know, because it's the same exact shape. So I was like, hopefully, I just want to make sure that they are 100% aware that anything in that planting bed, you're gonna want to like dig up and replant or whatever, you know, like that doesn't really concern us. I just want to make sure that they understand that that is, that they're not surprised when all of a sudden, they're like, what happened to all our flowers? And they got buried. And the planting bed in the back stays,
Yeah, I believe that is staying.
but the
Again,
shed
it's-
is going
I think,
away.
is that just the forsythia?
Yes. And I can never say it. So yes, I'll let you. But the shed is going away.
Shed is going away. Okay. Is there anybody in the audience that has anything to ask or comment on?
There is a hand up.
Okay.
I will move them over. They're listed as Frank Breyer. Just a moment.
Frank Breyer, you are on mute at the moment, but if you want to unmute yourself, you have the floor. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name's Frank Breyer. I'm at 1622 Great Plain Avenue. I'm the immediate abutter on the opposite side of Fuller Brook. And I'm not sure this is the right forum, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that the way the groundwater flows in this neighborhood, it flows from Wellesley down through my yard and then into this yard and then ultimately wherever it goes, just by the grade. And I know they're raising their land a little bit. And initially I was quite concerned that it would kind of dam the water into my yard. But after speaking with the developer, I feel very relieved, and I actually feel like what he's doing will help everybody in the long run by what he's doing to mitigate. And I just wanted to go on the record just thanking the owners and the developer and whoever else is involved for having such a thoughtful plan about the water mitigation from everybody's yard in the process.
Well, thank you. We don't usually get those comments here, so we appreciate that. Anything else?
Nope,
You don't
that's
wanna
it.
complain? Sweet.
I have no complaints. I actually really like the plan they put together. And I'm glad they're trying to save the trees, but you know, the best they can is all they can do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that really was great. So anybody else, Clay, in the audience?
There are no other hands.
Anybody in the commission have anything more to add?
Just so you,
So-
so I have not drafted the order, so
Okay.
if you want to close, you can, and I'll have it for the next meeting.
Okay, and about the trees, you think that this is something that we can do with an administrative order to have them relocate the trees?
Yeah,
So that they don't have to wait for 2 weeks when we sign or all of that stuff.
no,
Okay, so if people, so I think the request of the commission is to add another 5 feet of bring, from the wetlands, so bring the mitigation in, so we have another 5 feet of not lawn.
so do you want just to clarify, so right now the plantings are behind the proposed fence. So are you asking them to pull the fence forward and give more room in the back?
Well,
or-
I guess that I will leave that because I don't really have, personally, I don't have an objection to where the fence lands. It's where the plants are. So if they want to shift the fence and the plants, great. If you want to leave the fence and move the plants, that's your
Okay,
call.
that's okay. That's something we'll update the plan, and we'll get that to you, Deb.
Okay.
We'll have that discussion.
Is anybody
you'll-
that work
do
for
that.
others?
I'm sorry.
But I think if nobody has anything else to add on that, we can close the hearing.
And the administrative approval will give us the opportunity to do that next week or so within
You
our.
move the trees, yeah, you can move.
I'll
the trees
draft it
before we
tomorrow
have-
and email it to you and the applicant.
Yeah,
Okay.
before we have the order, you can move the trees.
Okay, thank you.
And then in 2 weeks, we'll be able to finalize the order of condition.
Okay,
So can I have a motion to close 1616 Great Plain Ave, DP file number 234900?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
they're fighting for it now. Love it.
Third.
All right, all in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Paulina, Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
yeah, aye. Great, thank you very much. Good luck with the trees. Hope they survive.
yes. Thank you. Have a
Uh,
good evening.
Good night. Our other business is 000 Fisher
Oh.
Street. DEP
Can I
file number-
Can I ask one question? It's
Sure.
kind of off topic. I do have an applicant that will be coming in. He is abutting a armored channel brook and currently has water in the basement, but he is gonna add on a sunroom. Would the commission be open to a bubbler from a French drain coming out of the basement towards the riverfront? Would that be something that would be acceptable? Only because there's no catch basins in front of the road. It's like way up the street, and it would be
The
financially.
biggest problem with the bubblers is that they can get covered with snow and covered with leaves.
Mhm.
So you just need to think it through a little bit on for maintenance and how it's gonna work if it's covered in snow and
Yeah.
you might be better off. Sometimes that's the only option, putting it into a landscape bed area, but it is a problem. if
Oh,
it's-
so well, that's what we would do. We would do, yeah, we would do something where it kind of drops into some type of riprap type area, maybe, maybe a few plantings, almost like a rain garden. And then, so it doesn't wash away because it is a little bit of a slope where it is, but okay, we'll take that into consideration and we'll be in front of you soon.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And trustees of reservations, thank you for waiting all this time. Sorry, I really had hoped to take you first, but life has it, as it goes. So 0 Fisher Street, DP file number 234521. This is a request for certificate of compliance. And I believe the trustees are here to tell us all about it. Who would like to talk? Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, I'm Anna Hasner. I'm here for this project. Yeah. So basically the project was a 30,000 foot removal at Charles River Peninsula within the 100 feet of a riverfront. It was removal of trees and invasive species that were then treated with herbicide, and then a replanting of native grasses. And this was done to improve the grassland for grassland breeding birds.
And has it improved it?
I think so. Yeah, we've been doing grassland bird monitoring and have had many different types of grassland birds breeding within the field.
And you've had, yeah, some monitoring. I feel like I saw something with the monitoring. Of,
Yeah, I
and one of our commission members who's not here is one of the people that has monitored a number of those birds. Anybody in the commission have any questions or statements about this project that was, I think, permitted in 2008? Maybe did the work happen in 2008 or the permit happened in 2000? Allison?
I just want to say how wonderful it is. Since I walk there all the time. I live on Switzerland, right off the street, so I go there all the time. It's fabulous. And the milkweed is sort of starting to be back a little bit. It's the only concern.
Thank you, Allison. Stephen?
No comment.
Dave?
No comments.
Sue?
When was it completed? I was just curious when it was actually completed.
It was completed in 2008, and we've continued to maintain the area that the removal occurred in since then.
And do you have to continue maintaining it going forward, or is it now solid and you're all done?
We mow it once a year. So that's just so woodies don't re-encroach on the area.
Paulina?
Comment?
And I think that was everybody. And I'm really sorry that you had to wait all night for us, but I love the trustees of reservation. So I appreciate all of that you do. And this is a beautiful project. So thank you very much. And so if there's no other comment, you guys are set. Both of you. And anybody in the audience have anything to add?
There are no raised hands.
Okay. I'll take a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 0 Fisher Street, DP file number 2345521.
So moved.
Thank you.
Can I just ask where you want me to mail the original to?
You can send them to my email, A. Hasner at the trustees.
So we
And-
have to mail you the original.
Oh,
You
sorry.
have to bring it to the registry to close out the permit.
Okay, Julie, do you have a?
Yeah, if you could mail it to me, that would be best. I can either give you my address now or email it to you, whatever.
Yeah, email is fine.
Okay, I'll do that.
So you understand the process. You have to
Yep.
go to the registry to close it out and then give us the recording information back.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And for the record, that was Julie Richburg from the trustees of reservation. Okay. Did we finish? Did we have a second?
I second it.
You seconded it. Thank you very much. All in favor? Stephen?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Paulina?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
And aye. Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you do. That's easy.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Okay, did we go through everything and we don't have any orders to, we don't have anything else paperwork?
No, so I just to let you know that the select board did approve the minute taker. So I anticipate that that she'll be on for the next meeting.
Oh, great. That's great.
Mhm.
And just seeing what else is going on, and so we don't have any minutes. So I just wanted the commission to know that I have given my resignation for the commission to the select board this week. I think I've been on this commission since 2006. And since nobody else was leaving this year, I thought this was a good opportunity to do my time. I told them I would stay on until another person was appointed. And there was somebody that's interested. So that's something. I have told Peter, he was away. I felt bad. I sent him a message while he's in Copenhagen.
Oh, I thought he was going to Italy.
I think maybe he's on his way. I don't know. He was in
Oh, interesting.
Copenhagen.
Busy weekend.
Yeah, he's busy. And in my mind, Peter has been the vice chair for a long time. He said he's happy to stay, kind of in the moment, but he's not sure if long-term he wants to be chair. So I think, everybody has the opportunity to think about either who would be a good chair, if you want to be the chair, if you want to be the vice chair, there's, room for growth. Shift yourself around, think about it a little bit. I'm not going anywhere immediately, but I wanted to let you know that it will, maybe end of June. It'll be
Sad.
it'll be my time.
I'm sad.
I know.
Thanks, Sue.
I sent her a sad face when I heard.
No, it's been a long
Very
time.
sad.
Long time. I feel like there's so many times that I've begged other people to stay. I'm like, don't go.
Yeah, I know.
I know. And now I'm like, okay, I'm jumping ship fast.
And
No.
so other boards, they switch up the chair too. So,
Yeah.
if no one's interested in just being the chair, we could change it up and have someone
Rotate
be
it every
chair
year.
for a
every
few
2
months,
years. Mhm.
switch it up so it's not quite as intimidating.
Yeah, and it's really, it's not a whole lot to it besides chatting during a whole meeting.
You make it look easy.
I just like to keep people, and I keep thinking, I gotta have when I get a plan, and I'm thinking, I have all these comments, and then I'm like, okay, I have to let other people talk.
Janet, which was easier, Zoom or in person?
I feel like I wasn't chair. Well, I used to have Artie sitting next to me. It was in person. So that always made it a little interesting. But I don't know. And you guys also, we can vote, or you can vote on if you want to go back in person. Now we could stay doing this till 2025 if you want to. But I know Sue, is dying to get back in. So anyway, something else to think about. And I really would love to get the tree regulations done before my term is up, but maybe the next meeting will be shorter. This was a long meeting.
Or even an extra, I think Deb mentioned it at one point, an extra little meeting to meet over the regulations in person. It might be more effective.
Well, maybe that's not a bad idea to have an in-person.
Debbie originally suggested that.
Talk about the trees. Just how do people feel about that? So we have a tree conversation. Does it have to be, we have to make it a hearing, and we have to make it a public hearing, we have to say it. And if we go in person one time, is that gonna mess up the whole system?
We could have a good bi-party too.
Oh, I know. I don't know, Clay, so as far as I know, if we do in person, we have to have it be hybrid. So
For the tree regulations though, within the Conservation Commission?
that's the town. The town is requiring that if we have in-person meetings, that they have to also be hybrid. And then I don't know if you can go back once you go in person.
Yeah.
So this would be considered a public hearing just for the Conservation Commission to be over. Okay.
Because it with open meeting laws, we have.
I'll find out more information on that.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. All right. Anything else?
So will we meet in person next time?
I know.
You're gonna have everybody else vote on it.
Yeah.
Will we vote on it? Will we vote on it, say the next meeting? Can we vote on it?
Yes. Yep.
We can vote on it.
We will.
We'll vote. We will vote at the next meeting, but whether we're gonna
You-
go in
you-
person. or-
Do you promise?
Yes,
Yes, yes.
actually, I won't be at the next meeting, but
I
Clay
I
promises.
think it would be nice if all 7 of us were here during that vote to make it.
Yeah,
a-
Right, right, right.
So
Oh,
it should be
definitely,
one, we're all here together.
definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Great. Well, if we're good, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you very much. Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jan.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.